And of course, I'm here with my Wealth Wednesday partner, Stacey Tisdale.
Happy Wealth Wednesdays, everybody. And we are so excited that Jasmine Crowe from Goodr is here.
Yes.
Jasmine Crowe-Houston.
Yes.
Jasmine Crowe-Houston.
Don't forget
A
the
married
Houston.
woman now.
You are a married woman now.
Building more wealth, right?
Excellent.
If we think about it, yeah.
So Angela and I were talking about how this all came about and how you all connected.
It was so great. So Angela was an honoree at Accelerate Her this year. I've been following her for many, many years. But something I was like, I'm going to reach out to Angela and tell her about this grocery store that I'm opening because I think it's a conversation that we need to be having about affordability of food. And of course, Angela is just a girl's girl, and she wrote back and she was like, yeah, we need to talk about this. And this is how it came together.
You know, I'm glad because honestly, like one of the main things that I focus on when it comes to things I want to do outside of work is about like food insecurities, food deserts, you know, having had a juice bar in the past. Yeah. That was part of what my passion was. Now I have a coffee shop, but I'm always trying to think of ways that I can do things in the community to help people that need it the most. And it's so interesting because the way that you started your organization, and I know you came by way of Phoenix
Yes.
To Atlanta, but was seeing an issue, but also realizing that the issue isn't necessarily that there's not enough food, it's how do we get this food distributed to people who really need it.
Yeah, the distribution, I would call it the logistics of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to college in North Carolina, went to Phoenix. That was the first time I ever fed people that were experiencing homelessness. And I always talk about setting up that day. And then when it was time to serve, the people that were helping me volunteer were on the other side of the table to like be served and get food. And it was just a realization that it could happen to anybody. Mm-hmm. Like everybody's a couple of paychecks away. I think even recently there's a post going viral about members of the military service in line at a food bank because of the shutdown. And so that's the reality. It's only 1 or 2 paychecks that people miss and they could need food. But what I realized is it was just take whatever we give you, and there was no dignity in it. It was just like, hey, it doesn't matter if you're kosher, you're halal, you don't eat meat, you're vegan, you're gluten-free. This is what we have, and just take it. And so when I started first feeding on the streets, it was like optionality. Like, let's have 5 or 6 different options that people can choose from. Mm-hmm. And that's what always made us different.
Right.
You started with Sunday Soul.
Yes.
And tell people about that and how it really caught attention.
It caught on. I mean, I started one day, I posted on Facebook in 2013. That's when I moved to Atlanta. So I've been in Atlanta since 2013. I was like, hey, I want to create this initiative called Sunday Soul. It's going to be like good old school music, soul food. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we turned it into like a pop-up restaurant because it got so popular that we would feed 300 to 400, 500 people every single week. We were out there, long lines.
And you were paying for this out of your own pocket.
Yeah, it was so crazy. A food bank was supporting me at first, but then I got a citation and he was like, yeah, my board member said I can't support you. And he just kind of cut us off. And then I was couponing and price matching and going to different farmers markets. And like literally I would go to like 10 different stores to get the best prices of everything. I always say I'm the reason Walmart doesn't price match anymore because at first I used to have all the advertisements and then they stopped it. So I would feed, I mean, and I could never do this now, but probably $500-$700 I could feed like 500 people. That could never happen now. I was making pasta and chicken and tacos and I had crab legs some weekends. Like I literally, I remember crab legs being $5.99 a pound.
Well, times have changed.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. You can't.
But the dignity of that, where you're serving food to people, but it's like gourmet food.
Yeah, like special food. I remember there was this video that went viral, the one that helped me start Goodr, of people, they were cheering. They were like, praise God. Like they were sitting down. Yeah. It was a little plastic cup of water. That's all they were drinking. And they were just like acting like they were at a restaurant and toasting. And they just, it was like, as soon as you take away people's choice, you take away their dignity. And I was part of that in the beginning. I remember being part of a group, making all these sandwiches and taking them out on the streets. And a guy says to me, what is that? And I was like, oh, it's peanut butter and jelly. He's like, oh, I'm allergic to nuts. And I'm thinking, we just made 1,500 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that we're thinking we're going to go and give to people. And that's a very common allergy.
Yeah, very common. I know having a juice bar, we used to have to really clean out like every single juice you make because people have so many allergies.
Yes.
You could literally like kill somebody.
Yeah. Yes, it was big, but we had made 1,500 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So it's just our heart was in the right place, but the thought is, what if it was you? And it just goes back to what we all learned in kindergarten, treating people how you want to be treated. And it is like giving me an option.
It's so nice to hear you talk about this because it's so close and it's so home. and you've given people so much dignity. But you're a major social entrepreneur, and you've really turned Goodr into an incredible business.
It is, I was thinking about that the other day because I think sometimes in the business, you get discouraged, right? It's not great every single day. Like the things that we see are always so positive. And I was getting discouraged, and I started thinking like, Jasmine, think of everybody that you've worked with. Think of all the people that you fed. And the fact that over the last, nearly 9 years, you have built a multi-million dollar business. And I never would have dreamed that. I was even telling my friend today, like, I would have never thought I'd be, sitting with Angela Yee. Like, it is just such an honor to think about where you start and where you go.
It's also not easy being an introvert. And you said that earlier. You've been doing TED Talks, and doing all of those things, and really having to network with people. Candy Barrios, I know, was instrumental. Gunna,
we opened the grocery store with him in 2021, and I always say now we just opened grocery store 29 last Wednesday, a week ago, and in Birmingham, Alabama. And I just think like Gunna just trusted me with the first vision of just like, hey, I really want to build this grocery store, and he funded it. And from that store, I think in 2021, 4 years later, 29 grocery stores we've opened.
Now, how is that for you though? Because we were discussing before the interview started networking and how important it is you can think to yourself, okay, I want to do all these great and positive things, but people need to know about it.
People have to know about it, and it's just, and also too, you have to deliver on what you say you're going to do. And I think that's the biggest piece of like me going to someone like a Gunna and saying, hey, I have this idea. We're going to build a grocery store inside of your old middle school. He has to trust me, and it has to work, and and a lot of times you're building as you're flying, right? Like I think when we opened Gunna's store, we had like 10 days. Literally.
Wow.
It was like,
talking about you were building as you were rocketing.
It was like 10 days. Like I called the principal. The principal said yes. His team, because these are big stars. They're touring. They have dates. The team was like, hey, we could do September 11th, 2021. And I mean, it was definitely in September when I had started working on this. So we were like building it. Then they were going to put clothes in, and Foot Locker was coming in, and all these sponsors. And it was like all of this came together in 10 days. But from there, now you have to build your plan to replicate it, right? It's like, okay, how does this operate? How many people are eating every single week? How much do bags cost? And then we have to continue to iterate, because what's happening now is food costs.
Right.
They keep going up. I mean, I remember buying a pound of ground beef for $3. You can't get a pound of ground beef now for under $7.
And along with all of that, a lot of programs are being cut. Now, how has that affected
many.
Your business?
I mean, I hear from seniors, specifically now that we have a grocery store that anyone can come in and shop in. My food stamps got cut from $84 to $23 to $16 a month. And you're thinking like, how expensive is food? Because that's the thing I think we all don't think of when we think of poverty. It's always like, oh, people need to hustle. They need to go to work. They need to get up. What if you're a retired teacher or a retired nurse? Your retirement is the same. It doesn't matter that ground beef went up to $7.
Right.
The government's not giving you an extra $3 to $4. They're not adjusting. So now people are like, okay, how do I feed myself? How do I feed my pet? They love their pets, and so they're having to make these critical decisions every single month. Like, am I going to pay for food, or am I going to pay for bills? A lady came into the grocery store the other day, and she told one of our employees, I need to get $10 worth of groceries on my face. And we were like, what? Yeah, she was like, just remember me.
Okay.
And I'm going to have to come back and give you the $10.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have it right now.
Right.
That's what we're living in right now.
This is 54 million
Yes.
Americans.
Yes.
Are hungry like this.
Don't know where their next meal is coming from.
And things are changing so rapidly as you're talking about. How important?
It's so scary.
Where do you see your role in all of this now?
I mean, I think we are needed now more than ever. I feel like we've always been needed, but it's like, who's going to keep us alive? Because our model is so different. We're doing something. We're not a food bank. We're not a food pantry. We're dignity first. We want cities to come in and partner with us to help us reduce costs for more people. That's how we see the idea of like a municipal grocery store, not a city-ran grocery store, a Goodr-ran grocery store. We built a deli inside of this store. Seniors can get a meal for $5. We have $2.50 kids meals, $1 cups of coffee every day. Just things that are so affordable so that people can stay alive. And a friend of mine messaged me the other day, and she said, my dad loves this store. It makes him feel so good to be able to treat me and my daughters
Family
to
of
food.
four for $20,
Yes,
right?
like that's unheard of. It's unheard of. And so So I think we are needed now more than ever. I worry about what the next couple of years look like, because we're just in 2025. You know, we've got to still get through what's just kind of taking shape.
You're a social entrepreneur,
Yes.
and I was recently part of the UN Week here in New York, and
Oh,
that's just
wonderful.
all anybody's
Yeah, I
talking about:
spoke
social
last year.
entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Social entrepreneurship.
Do well
Tell
by
people
doing good.
what it is, and when you hear Goodr and your mission, the first thing you think is nonprofit.
Yeah.
It's not. You were
It's
very intentional about creating a for-profit company, a B corporation. You're a social entrepreneur. Tell people what that means.
The first thing I saw when a video of my work feeding on the streets went viral is that businesses are throwing away millions of pounds of perfectly good food. And I feel like we've all seen it. You've been to a gala.
You call it
there's
a
empty
logistics
tables. It's a
problem.
logistics problem. But the thing is, Stacey, people were paying waste management companies millions of dollars a year. None of us are going to not pay our trash bill.
Yeah,
'Cause we
you
don't want to
have
sit on our trash.
You have to do that.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
You have to pay for your trash. So
You look
people
at
are
all
just
kinds
throwing
of
all kind of
tickets and-
fines,
yeah.
rodents, everything that comes with it. So perfectly good food was just being thrown away, and people were making money off of it. And so my thought was, what if I was a different option? What if I take this food and instead of throwing it away, I get edible food to nonprofits and start making sure that it's feeding people? So it was a business model in that, because I was still handling the logistics of picking the food up, getting it delivered, and giving the business back all of the data around who's this food going to, how many meals have they provided, how many tax deductions do they have, how many pounds of food have they kept out of landfill. And that was the business for the first 3 years. And then we got hit with the pandemic, and really in a matter of a week, all of my customers were like, oh, our cafeterias are closed. We don't have any food. And I was like, how are we going to stay alive? And we were so fortunate enough to get a call from the then superintendent of Atlanta Public Schools, who said, hey, all of our students get free breakfast and lunch, and now they're going to be learning virtually. Can Goodr work with us to get this food delivered to them?
Amazing.
And so that was our first contract to deliver school meals to students during the pandemic. And it turned into delivering meals to seniors, delivering meals to families. We
Who was giving you the food?
I mean, well, people were giving us the money, and we were going to get the food. So that was the greatest. Sarah Blakely from Spanx gave me $100,000. She called. Can you imagine? Someone was like, Jasmine, Sarah Blakely's trying to get in contact with
like,
you. And I was
okay.
like, okay.
Like, and
And
send me
she
some
was
Spanx
like,
while you're at
yes,
it.
yes, please, right? A couple, and the leggings, right? So then she did. Ironically, she sent me and my friend leggings. Like I sent her the size that they sent leggings. Yes, that's so funny. But yeah, she gave $100,000. P from Quality Control Music gave $100,000 to feed families in Atlanta. United Way came in with $300,000, and then I started hiring
All
people.
by word of mouth.
All just by doing the work. And that's what I talked about, being intentional and saying like, hey, if you give me this is how many families I could feed. I'm going to give them all this food. I mean, we had these, they were called Goodr boxes. I mean, we had everything in those boxes. Like,
How did you scale all this?
I mean, God, because sometimes I'm sitting here thinking, like, how did I do it? We used to go to the grocery store at like 6 o'clock in the morning when they would open and get like 4 or 5 baskets, and we'd have vans come. The vans would be full with food, like in baskets. And it's so funny because during the pandemic, people like, other people got to eat too. And I was like, we feed in the hood, we feed in everybody, but they thought it was just for us.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not just stockpiling
I'm just not
this.
stockpiling
That's
this.
the other thing,
that was
too.
what was happening during the pandemic.
Yeah,
People
everybody
were
was
just
running
hoarding.
out. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, this whole thing, this makes so much sense to me, because for any business owner, instead of hiring, to throw away all of this good food, and they do like sometimes charge you by the pound, and how much stuff you have, I would much rather donate that food to people who need it, because nobody wants to throw away good food.
Yeah.
I remember being younger, and there were certain places where after a certain time, the food was half price.
Yes.
So we'd be like, I'm going to wait till, because
where
they
it
have
is,
to get
yeah.
rid of that
6
stuff,
o'clock,
and they'd rather not throw it out. So that makes perfect sense to me, to be able to do something like that. And then that should make you feel good as a business owner.
Yeah.
Like, at least, as I'm running my business, I'm doing my part to make sure that people can get this instead of just throwing it away, because that's crazy to me.
It's crazy. I mean, and we've been fortunate to work with some really big partners. I mean, everyone from Delta to the NBA. We were at the NBA here for the draft in New York in June. It was the hottest day on record.
That's when Navy was DJing.
Yes,
and shouted you out.
he was so amazing. He had it rocking out there too. We were like Kingdome Park in Harlem, and we had like so many families come out. It was all the new NBA draft. So when you think of that, Stacey, yeah, would those opportunities have ever been afforded to me if I was a nonprofit? Possibly. I think it would have taken a lot longer.
Oh,
but
definitely.
Because I was a business and it was like, hey, this is the service, this is what we'll do, this is what you'll get. It was an even exchange, and I think it has opened up doors for us to work with so many more people.
What type of role does technology play in what you do?
It plays a huge role, yeah. We are big data driven. Like, how many meals are we serving? What's the economic value? I think we've provided about $83 million in economic value to the communities that we've served since we started, and we measure that. So that's a big piece of it. For our food logistics piece, it's like when a business says, hey, I have excess food, we are pinging drivers. Drivers are picking that food up. It's then getting delivered to a nonprofit. When the nonprofit receives it, they sign for it like they would a UPS package, and their signature is auto-generated on a Goodr donation letter from that nonprofit for our clients. So all of this is happening in real time with technology. So at any given time, our clients can see who the food is going to, how many pounds of food they donated, what's their tax write-off because they have the letter, and they're seeing they're measuring, able to see what they're doing in the community. So it's amazing.
Now, tell us how the hybrid model works also when it comes to families coming in to get affordable groceries, because it is, you pay for some people. So how does that work?
It was amazing, and shout out to the city of Atlanta and just cities that are working with entrepreneurs to be innovative. I think we think of innovation always in like AI.
Right.
But what if we just do something different to serve families, right? So I went to the city of Atlanta. This is over a year in the making. And I said, hey, we would love to test having a real grocery store. At this point, all of our grocery stores have always been free, like the Gunna model. In the school, in the senior home, kids and seniors get access to the food. But what about people that just live in the neighborhood that need access to food? And so we were able to work with the city by where they provided us the funding to provide 200 families for free every single month get to shop at our store. But we put on additional funding to keep the cost down for everybody.
Right.
And so where someone else would pay, $7, $8 for something at our store, it may be $5.99 or $6. And it's just so much more affordable for the mass, if you will, because we already had the building. So we already had to be there to serve the 200 families for free. What does it look like to have a little bit more funding to serve anybody that walks through the door? We put the deli in. We accept SNAP EBT, so you can use your SNAP benefits on both the deli. So now get a meal, get sandwiches for the family at sandwich night, $20 the whole family eats, $1 ice cream scoops, $2.50 kids meals, and then we have $10 grab bag meals, which are also SNAP eligible. And we have this week chicken and waffles. We have chicken teriyaki rice bowls. $10 a bag feeds a family of 4.
Wow.
And you just
This
don't
is
have
your
that
moment
anyway.
now, because with all these cuts, you're
listen,
providing a needed service for
teachers,
cities.
People come in like, let me get 6 of those bags. This is what I'm eating for the rest of the week. I mean, literally, teachers have told us they don't eat without these bags. And the lady told me the other day, like, as long as those bags are here, I'm going to get them, because it's a way to budget, to think like, okay, hey, 30 days in the month, if I get, and think if you're a family of 2. Now that meal that's for 4 gives you leftovers for a day.
Yeah.
And now for $10, you've got 2 days worth of food.
I have to ask you some personal things, Jasmine. When it comes to cooking, and because I know you had this in Phoenix, you were making cupcakes.
Yes, I had a cupcake truck.
Yeah, you had a cupcake
Sweet
truck.
Jones. That's what it's called. Shout out to Pimp C and Shannara. That's where the idea came from.
And you were also donating 50 cents from certain cupcakes to give to nonprofits, right? So I want to ask you where your love of cooking even came from.
I couldn't afford to go home. It's, the funniest story. My dad was military. I went to high school in North Carolina. When I was looking for colleges, really wanted to go to like Howard, USC. My parents made this big deal like, oh, we want you to stay in this state so you could drive home. My freshman year, they moved to Portland, Oregon.
Like, hello, are you going to stay in the state so I can drive home?
So now I'm in North Carolina by myself, and I started working in retail. And anyone that works in retail knows you don't have Black Friday off. So one Thanksgiving, I couldn't afford to go home. And it was just like, I couldn't take a flight and then be back the next day. So me and my friend got together and we cooked for, I want to say like 9 people. We made enough food for like 100. We had a Betty Crocker cookbook, baby, and we made ham and turkey. Every single thing that you could make. And like my friend was working in the cafeteria. That was her work study. And she had learned how to season the turkey. So that's how I learned how to cook. Betty Crocker, old school.
So it's not like you grew up knowing how to cook.
No, I did not grow up in the kitchen. I was a latchkey kid. My parents were going to school. I was eating like Kraft macaroni and cheese. Like
Listen,
I was like,
I remember those. Yeah, me
yes,
too. I remember putting bologna in the
I
on the
remember
stuff
making
and let
like
it bubble
sugar
up.
toast.
Bologna and
Disgusting.
what?
I would make sugar toast. Like I would just take a piece of bread with some butter and sugar. Like that was my after school snack.
That's a
That was, like,
delicacy.
I mean, well, that's what I lived off of.
Man, listen, the days that we had to go through.
Yes.
So that it's just interesting to me that because it felt. Do you love to cook though, or
You know, I feel like I don't get to cook as much now as I used to, but I do love to cook. Like I'm a Thanksgiving. I'm like an entertainer. Like
Okay.
if come to my house we're gonna have it all. Like I like to do stuff like that, Easter brunches and things of that nature.
what's your specialty?
People seem to say that I make the best collard greens. That's
Do
what people.
you?
That's what I've heard that about collard greens and lasagna.
Oh, I
Those
love
are the
collard
two
greens.
things that people have asked me. And I fry turkeys.
Oh wow.
Oh, fried turkeys are the best.
I fry, but I have like a jerk turkey. I have a honey lemon pepper turkey. I season
You're making
them
me
and fry
hungry.
them. Yes.
I
Yes.
wouldn't be mad at like a Goodr cookbook. That's all I'm
Oh
saying.
wow! You
I
gave
was
me
just
a
thinking
whole
about
idea.
it.
That's
yes.
great.
Because it could be like other people's recipes too.
to feed people.
Yeah.
Right?
I
love
Like,
that now
just
she's at, well,
take
maybe
one,
it's other
feed
people's
one.
recipes.
Oh, yes, everyone
I'm
give
just
me
saying.
something.
You
She
know.
gave me something. This is
Oh,
now when I
oh,
make
little
some from this.
entrepreneur.
This is where it came
Little
from. This
entrepreneur.
is a business person. Yes, a Goodr cookbook.
And one thing I wanted you to touch on before you go, you are a badass entrepreneur. I was reading that you actually bring hungry people to corporate board meetings.
You know, we do a lot. I would say one of the biggest things that kind of kicked me in the head the other day, if you will, just like shocking, is how many people that were living on the streets that are eating and shopping in our stores. And that was, it's just, I guess I didn't realize it. Like I saw this man, I left the store one night, something happened. We put out our excess food every night at our grocery store. So, we never throw anything away. So if something expires that day, at the end of the night, we put it in a basket and it says
Right.
free, take what you need. It's perfectly good. And we are in a very large, highly transient, unhoused area. And so whatever we put out is gone. And one guy came, he was like, hey, my name is Trevor. I live under the bridge. And it just was like, can you just imagine like the way he just said, this is where I live, under the bridge, which is like, less than half a mile from the street. So we have had so many people in our building that are unhoused that you just don't know that it is. Like they're in the building, they're shopping, they're getting their $1 scoop of ice cream, they're using their dollars, and then you leave the store and then you're like, oh man, like he was just in the store ordering food, but he's like sleeping on the street. So lots of people that are hungry, but they are buying, they're people and they're buying with dignity, and so you don't even know. And I never knew until, like I said, it just hit me one day when I left the store and saw people that had been shopping in the store sleeping under the bridge.
And you show this to corporations.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to see this because at the end of the day, everybody has a story. And I don't know anybody's story, but what I know, my purpose in their story at that moment is to feed them. And I always say, definitely this is Wealth Wednesday, but you talk about like having a richer life. Mm-hmm. I may never die like a multi-millionaire, billionaire, but at the end of my life, I will be able to stand before God and say people were hungry and I fed them. And I think that just makes me feel like I've done something right.
I totally so proud of you. How can people connect with you, work with Goodr, all that?
Yeah, I really, I want to get to cities like Detroit, New York. I think our model really needs to be other places. We do have our Goodr grocery stores, the ones in schools all over the country, from San Francisco to Colorado. We've opened them in Tennessee, but we just need to work with more people. So I am Jasmine at Goodr.co. We are Goodr Co. on all social media. And I'm just inviting people to figure out how we can work together. I want to get to places like the Delta in Mississippi. I want to go to Little Rock, Arkansas, places in Detroit where they're telling me there's not a grocery store, like inner city proper. Like I should be there. Like, I'm a woman. I am a Black woman. I really care about how people eat and how they're served. And I care about people. And I think that matters. And so please connect with me. I want to, like any city. I mean, I know that that's a big conversation in New York right now, like these city ran municipal grocery stores. Like, come and talk to us because I think our solution works and it's tried and true. I mean, I've been working on this for 10 years in January. So this is not an overnight thing.
And you can see where your money is going to for people who want to donate or people who want to say, okay, I have this person, like any type of connections can be valuable.
We work with different celebrities. We work, Gunna's not the only person we've worked with. We work with a lot of NBA players. Like, work with us. Like, like if you want to do something in your community, you want to give back, you want to change something, like we are a real solid partner to do it with. We've done it for a lot of people and we help a lot of people.
All right. like, don't worry, girl, I got some ideas.
Yes,
already.
I love
Already
it.
the cookbook.
Yeah, no, the cookbook is happening. I'm gonna be, when it's revealed, we'll come back here and it's gonna be on that bookshelf.
You have a forever friend in Wealth Wednesdays.
Oh, thank you all so much.
Always.
And I think also with the cookbook, we need like for holidays, we need to figure out, because I think sometimes in cookbooks, I notice it's just like a small meal. We need you to like put things in here so people can make
make it for
larger,
10.
for 10 people or something like that at a
or
time.
just enough to give to other
Yeah,
people.
that's a
You
great
know,
idea.
Enough to give and not throw away.
Yeah.
Because I will say Thanksgiving is the most wasted food
I
day
believe
in the
it.
country.
They be giving away all them raw turkeys.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I
and
don't.
then people overindulge and they overmake.
Yeah.
And like if you don't have, you're not.
And they
like,
just throw it
Yeah,
away.
you're not grandma's house where everybody's coming and eating. You after what is it? I think Plaza's like after the third day you gotta throw it away.
It's
So much
gotta
food
go.
gets thrown away. I think he was like, "You going to the ER?" if you
Yeah,
eat it
that
after
clip
4
goes
days.
viral every.
That goes viral every year, but it's a big deal. So the most wasted day for food in this country is Thanksgiving. So make
we
a little less
challenge
this
you
year.
to
Make
not
a
do
little
it this
less.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just don't get the 13-pound turkey. You don't need the 26-pound turkey. Unless you're making turkey salad and you're feeding people, you can get a
'Cause
little
you-
less.
What
You
about
only
the
got 3
leftovers
days.
in your freezer from last year?
Yeah, oh, it's time to go. The leftovers, 6 months. 6
And don't
months,
give
you
that
guys.
away. It's
Please.
over.
And don't put that back on the table this Thanksgiving. Okay, it's done.
All right. Well, Jasmine, thank you so much. And we'll definitely be in contact because I'm going to figure out like some ways we can collab.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Happy
it's
Wealth
way up.
Wednesdays,
Wealth
everybody.
Wednesday.
Wednesdays.